I should probably add myself to the stream. How's everybody doing? It's Monday. It's a great day. Hopefully yours is going pretty swell. Hopefully your weekend was quite enjoyable. Welcome to the show. No matter how your weekend was, my name's Stuart Davis, flawed man of God, a humble parishioner at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor, not a biblical scholar, haven't been to seminary. Not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause, just here to talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, talk about a wide variety of different topics, issues, and current events, give you my perspective on them, one that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. Been a Christian all my life, 41 years, non-denominational Protestant. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the Word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. Sometimes I'll get it right. Often I'll get it wrong. But no matter what, if you are watching this stream, if you are listening to my voice, you can count on getting my honest takes on whatever it is we're talking about. So, if you are somebody who is looking to become a Christian, you felt something missing in your life, there doesn't seem to be any place for you, but you have found it, or you think you're finding it in Christ, but you are still self-conscious about it. You're still unsure about your faith. There are doubts, and that bothers you. So somehow, maybe you found your way to this YouTube channel, to this live stream, seeking some sort of reassurance that you're doing the right thing. And if that's the case, look, get it out of the way right now. You're on the right path. If you are pursuing Christ genuinely, earnestly, and obediently, you're making a great decision. The best decision you could ever make. And I'm rooting for you to stay on that path. The folks in the chat are rooting for you. The people listening are rooting for you. God is rooting for you. So keep it up. And if that's all you needed and you need to go about your way, take that away from it. But you might want to consider staying with us, hanging out with us. We have a very nice, relaxed, comfortable, informal stream here. It's very layperson oriented. We're not experts here. But maybe you'd like to find out a little bit more what it's like to be in, a Christian discussion. To find out what it's like. In fact, if you were already a Christian tuning in, welcome as well. Glad to have you here. You'll find we run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school. It's about small group getting together, having some fellowship. And like I said, those discussions. And no matter where you are in the faith, whether you are just starting out or you're just looking for some answers at first, you haven't made that first step, but you're looking at it. Or you have been a Christian longer than me, you're smarter in the faith than me, right? More mature in your faith, or maybe somewhere in between. Love to have you in the chat. You belong there. We'd love to have you. We have a great group of folks who are in there night in and night out. You can see them right there talking. Like to have you in there as well. And it's easy. It's easy to participate. Just talk. We're a small enough group. Let's talk about small groups. Small enough group that if you put something in that chat, I'll read it and respond to it. So, what's on your mind? What do you agree with or disagree with? Where do you think I'm right? Where do you think I'm wrong? What particular experience, insights, or perspective do you bring to the discussion and maybe we haven't considered yet? Or maybe you want to add on to something somebody else has said. Share your opinion. Ask questions. I'm not sitting here telling you I'm going to have the answers, but we can at least talk about them. Talk about your question and maybe point you in the right direction. Maybe one of these folks in the chat will have an answer for you. But the chat, big part of this show, big part of what makes it great is other people kind of chiming in with what we're reading about. With that said, let's get into this show. Thad Demand, fire Eberflus. Yeah, I saw that. Saw that game. I don't think that's an Eberflus problem. I think that's a overall talent issue. They probably shouldn't have been in that position regardless. I have a buddy who was at the Redskins game and got to see it all live. I was like, man, what a way. What a game to go to. So I'm happy for him. He's a Skins fan, so I know he's on cloud nine. I could tell by watching it, by reading his Facebook over the last 24 hours. So, yeah, not a good day for Bears fans. Alex Moore here for the music, and now the music is over. Has been for about 5 minutes now. Baratax is here. How's it going, sir? Matt Felty is here. The Carl we all know and love. And it was a good day. Glad you had a good day, Carl. And Veritex saying, I had this realization today that all the things we are seeing, God may just be shaking some dust out of his robes as he purifies the church. Yeah, you brought up, I saw in Discord, you brought up David Platt, and I haven't really looked into it. I know the name in passing. I don't know much about it, but apparently a lot of talk going on. I just haven't stuck my nose in there to find out what it's all about. Matt's asking, how'd fantasy baseball go? Remember, I was asking about Ohtani. Any extra credit for the postseason? How about my man Freeman's walk-off slam, man? Look, I'm not rooting for the Dodgers. Can't stand it. Can't stand it. But I do like Freddie Freeman. He does seem like a genuinely nice guy. I hope he's a genuinely nice guy. But that was the thing I said. I was like, y'all don't walk people to get to Freeman. Freeman's the one person in that postseason with real World Series experience, and not just being in the World Series, but winning the World Series. He's a World Series champion, and he is a great baseball player. And you put those two together, you got somebody you don't really want to face. Fantasy baseball. I can't remember what you were asking about on Ohtani. I know that and at least the fantasy baseball things I've used, if you can either draft him as a pitcher or a batter, or if you get the opportunity, draft both. You have him listed as a draftable player under both, so you have him in there twice. So if he passes up, you can have him as a hitter and a batter, but he shows up twice for stat counting purposes. But the walk-off slam, I mean, he already has a home run tonight too. So he's not wasting any time. Well, that was a long time ago. As far as how fantasy baseball went, I lost. I lost in the postseason. Didn't make it to the championship either. Thad said the Bears have only one game. Oh, sorry. The Bears have only won one game with a break of more than 7 days since Floops was coach. Plus, he called the play before, which gave them 15 yards, burning to only 2 seconds, plus the Kramer handoff. Well, I think you've got the problem with the player who was out in the middle of nowhere in the end zone interacting with the fans, probably trying to taunt them because he thought they were going to win, and then realizing at the last second he needed to be somewhere. What a way for that to fall apart. It's not the best look. And I think that he bears some of the blame, maybe a fair portion of the blame, but they're certainly not all of the blame There was plenty of that go around. And you have a quarterback who plays like crap most of the game and shows up for like 2 drives. It seemed like the play before he was trying to get them up closer. Well, that's what the Redskins were trying to do. They were trying to get up closer for the pass. Miscommunication. I think that was a different. Yeah. Yeah, he went for the ball instead of roving defense in the back. And who knows? Because apparently, I've been watching a lot of sports talk today, and the guys who played, they're all like, "Yeah, this is something you practice every week. You do lots of this practice on the Hail Mary throws. Everybody's got an assignment they're supposed to be. What assignment was his? Where was he supposed to be? Somebody said it might have just done if he didn't try to rush back. If he'd have just stayed over there with the fans." It might not have been a touchdown for the for Washington. It was crazy. Crazy. That said, if not for the play before, he would not have had to throw the Hail Mary for yeah, he definitely didn't. Chase Daniel said to me, or said not to me. Chase Daniel said this morning uh, on the faculty or on the facility. He said he said as a quarterback, what they should do is just blitz every Hail Mary throw because they don't have enough. Hold on a second. Sorry, I had to say night night to the baby. Came to the bottom of the stairs going night night. It was that's too adorable to pass up. Um yeah. Veritek said the defender on the left sideline that was back on the second to last play, he was trying to communicate because they were confused, trying to get them up. Then CW came in to pull them off the field. Should have called a timeout. I don't know. Said pretty sure a rule is let no one behind you in the end zone alone. Yeah. Well, again, there was a lot of stuff going on during that play that wasn't supposed to be going on. But hey, credit to Washington, credit to Daniels, who I think is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. I think that just the way he's handled it, man. Maybe he's got a better coaching team to help develop him. Who knows? I mean, we've seen what Sam Darnold's been like. There it is. Plus Williams being bad, he played flat. Everyone did. That's my point. The players always come out flat if they have a break of more than 7 days. That's fair. What? You should be able to clear it. I mean, it would have been it. Look, if the Redskins figure out how to score in the red zone, this ends up being a blowout, and Chicago's not even close. Like from what I was watching, I mean, I was in and out during the game watching it. I was like, whoo! I was like, they just look better. I will see. I just don't like Caleb's attitude. I don't like his shtick. I don't like any of that stuff. But what happens happens. Sorry about your loss, Thad. I know you're uh I know you're expecting it though. Okay. Now that we've gotten football out of the way, are y'all ready for more Proverbs? Oh, this is that's a big fight. Williams, I think, is better, but only 3 years of college. Daniels 6 years in a simplified offense. Williams' ceiling is higher. Perhaps, perhaps. But again, and this is me, big Brock Purdy fan, not the most athletically gifted guy, but what does he do? He doesn't he doesn't play um he doesn't need to be overwhelmingly athletic. What he needs to do is his job. He needs to lead his team. He needs to understand his offense. He needs to understand his own capabilities. He needs to be able to, you know, read the field when he's out there. And if Daniels can get the hang of that more than Williams, or if Daniels is a better leader, or if Daniels is more focused. I mean, it's just like looking at Kyler Murray. Very similar issue. Pretty smart and smooth, often gets the third read. Yeah. I imagine if Alex Smith had had Jim Harbaugh as his head coach from the beginning, he would have been he would have had he and Harbaugh both would have had much more success with the Niners. If Harbaugh had had a different general manager, maybe if Harbaugh had Lynch. Let's go if we go back in time. Harbaugh's not in Stanford. Harbaugh goes to San Francisco, becomes a head coach. They draft Alex Smith instead of Aaron Rodgers. They draft Alex Smith. John Lynch is the GM. They have a much better relationship with things. Alex Smith could have easily been Brock Purdy, and I think that I couldn't stand Alex Smith. Could not stand him. Thought he was I thought he was worthless, worthless. And then Harbaugh comes in, and then all of a sudden, oh, this guy is talented. This guy does have what it takes to play. And then he goes and plays for Andy Reid in Kansas City, and you see the same thing. He is a worthwhile quarterback because he might be a little undersized, or I think with the Smith, it was small hands, tiny hands. But he knew his craft. Like I said, he might have a higher ceiling, but if you don't have the attitude, which I think it might be part of Williams' problem, it'll get in the way for a lot of things. Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, until I think he finally humbled himself. Ryan Leaf, you really want to go back into the old days. Just better hope he's not Jamarcus Russell. All right. All right. Enough of that. Enough of that. Let's get into what's important, and that's the word. The word. So we just started Proverbs 21 on Wednesday, because Thursday was our last softball game. And we read first five verses. And so we'll be picking up at verse 6. Acquiring treasures by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor, the seeking and pursuit of death. I think that's fortune or advancement of any type, I think, gained by fraudulent means, through lies, through deceit. um, isn't actually going to get you what you want. Ah, Matt, Matt, Matt's just like he's talking to the computer in Star Trek. Compare. Where is it? Ah, very similar. A fortune made by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor and a deadly snare. And that one's got a footnote on it. Let's see what it says. Some Hebrew manuscripts, Septuagint and Vulgate, most Hebrew manuscripts, vapor for those who seek death, which is very similar to what we see in seeking and pursuit of death and amplified. So, again, you go after what's going to make you famous, what's going to make you rich. You lie to get there, misrepresent. What is it? Lie, cheat, steal to get there. Get what you need, get what you want. You're going to find that now that's Super Troopers, and hence, what's going on, aliens? um, it's not going to get you what you think. You think you want something, right? Jenny, what's up? What's up, ma'am? You think you want something, but you don't really work the honest way. You don't get it the honest way, or you can't get it without being dishonest. And instead of saying nope, or hey, there's another way to get there, what you end up doing is creating a trap for yourself. What I think is really well said in the NIV is a deadly snare. You have to kind of you're stuck in that lie, or you have to hide that you lie. And there's always that that fraud hanging over your head, and you're always tethered to it. Or even worse, you like it, you continue to do it because hey, I was able to say this, or I was able to uh, cheat my way here. I'll continue doing it, and then I can have all the money, all the things, all the fame that I want, and it ends up becoming a lifestyle. Get rich quick. What's a good example of this? Sell drugs, right? Once you get in, or once you get into that life, I don't really see people getting out of it in a good way. Normally, if you try to lie and cheat your way, lie and cheat your way into what you want, it puts you on a path to doom. Not to mention that it's corrosive to your soul. Hold on, guys. All right. Um, But yeah, I mean, it's just even if you only do it once or twice, it's always there. All right. Verse 7. The violence of the wicked will return to them and drag them away like fish caught in a net because they refuse to act with justice. A lot of days. I think the day is the wicked. The niv is the violence of the wicked will drag them away, for they refuse to do what is right. And this is similar. This ties in well with verse 6. Now, we're not talking about lying, we're talking about wickedness, which will include stuff like that. And it sounds to me a lot like um, live by the sword, die by the sword. You pursue a wicked lifestyle, it will eventually catch up to you and you will face um, wicked consequences. 'Cause a lot of times, folks, folks who are mixed up in bad or wicked things end up having consequences tied in with them. Beyond any type of judgment by God, just for just natural consequences. But again, it's one of those things where, you know, God gives us these commandments on what will generally put us or set us up for success in the way that the natural world works. And when you deviate from those, when you deviate from that, you create or you put yourself at risk to natural consequences. God created this world and this universe. He knows the rules. He knows the best way to navigate those rules because it's the way he wants things to be done, ideally. Again, it's the handbook, it's the owner's manual, roadmap. Call it what you will. Where was I at? Because they refuse to act with justice. Yeah. A lot of times people are in love with their own wickedness. We see this um in more polite circles or in more accepted parts of society with folks who just have a very sinful they're sinful vices that they're in love with or they identify with. Differing levels of degeneracy, but I'm not hurting anybody, they say. Or it's my right, they say. You're hurting yourself. People, do people not know that I stream? It's the same time every day, every evening. Oh, after I stream. So, if you let yourself become ensnared by what you do, and look, don't just point the finger at other people that you know. The first thing you need to look for is when you're doing it yourself. I'm doing something that's wrong. Well, it's not that bad. Maybe God really is okay with me doing this. We tell ourselves these lies, and sometimes they're little lies, and sometimes they're big lies. but it's not a good habit to get into because it's still sin. It's still not making the standard. It's still not where we want to be. And if we start lying to ourselves, it makes it difficult to be honest with God. And he knows when we're lying. All right, I'm gonna go see if who's putting my son down to bed tonight. If it's me or my wife, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the music on, and I'll be back in just a moment. Let's see. Do. See y'all in a bit.
There's no speech, no tone to quench their voice, does not extend. The line is gone through all the earth and points to the world's end. And then we set the sun and like the light photos. From streamer rises young and loved, to rubbish lace reach your voice. From heaven's endless sky, simple to the end again. And there is nothing from his feet that cannot remain.
All right. I didn't hear any actual lyrics. That's odd. Neo's in the chat. What's going on, Neo? How's the bibi? And the mama? Nobody cares about the dad. Nobody cares about the dad. Just care about how baby's doing. And yeah, how's mama doing? Oh, by the way, folks, this weekend, I meant to mention this, and because he's not in the chat, I forgot. Had breakfast Saturday morning with Nico. He's actually the first person from the chat that I've met that I didn't know beforehand. Like there's folks like Chad, Lauren, that I've met before, but I knew them before they were in here. Like I've gone to church with them, I knew them. Mr. Hawley, these are all folks I've hung out before. But someone first person the from the chat actually met him. It's it's really cool to see somebody like that. So we had breakfast together. He told me, and this is folks who go back to the time when Neo and Nico were still very new to the channel. Nico joined just out of curiosity, just out of interest, and it became for him a life-changing event, and that's important for people, right? Those moments when you realize that it's real and it's serious and it needs to be part of your life, and you pursue it and you commit to it. And he credited me with that. He was thankful to me, which is a big deal for me. It's a very surreal experience to think. I mean, because it's one thing, me being an example for my wife for years and bringing her in. Part of that is seeing something in action and emulating it. But to bring somebody in who I've never met, who didn't really know me, but just watching, just listening to scripture getting read, listening to some of the things I said. I'll give scripture the bulk of the credit here, right? But he's in church now. He's a Christian. We talked about him getting baptized, and like I said, it's a surreal experience for me because a lot of you folks come in, y'all already have an established faith, or you're getting back to it, but you believe. But we don't see many of the folks that I speak to at the beginning of my introduction when I'm saying, "Hey, if you're new to Christianity, or if you're not there, but you're just interested in it," that's a distinct minority. It's less so now because Nico's taken those steps, but it's happened. It's a mission accomplished and at least one box checked. This this stream and all the time that I've put into it has been worthwhile just for him. It was worthwhile anyway for me talking to you guys and getting to experience with you. But the labor and taking this time out for 3 years now, doing this project, doing this outreach, having this channel, 3 years worth, it's worth it. And it's not even close. It's a bargain. His soul, just like yours, is priceless. And the only thing that can be bought that's priceless was the blood of Christ. And I ain't got anything near that value. But it's worth it. And you guys are worth it just as much. So when you're down on yourself, not feeling well about your faith, you're feeling down on yourself because you're screwing up, it's okay. Repent. Continue to work on not doing that. Stay in the faith. Because while it's a great thing, it's a beautiful thing, it's a joyous occasion to gain a believer, a brother and sister of Christ. It's just as painful, or it's equally, or the joy is equal in loss to when someone falls away. Someone gives up. I don't want to see that with any of y'all. Like I said, I'll have a nice party, a nice meet and greet when we're all together in heaven. I want to see all of you there. I want to see people who who I never even knew watched this channel, who just lurked, who just watched, never got into the chat. I'd love to see those folks come up. That would be great. Anyway, sorry, a little bit of side conversation there. Neo said he's talking about his son, he'd be doing okay aside from the lack of a testicle, and the wife is tired. Hey, redundancy. We got two. It only takes one. So hope little dude's doing all right though. Aside from that, sounds like he's, like you said, doing okay. Aside from that little thing, but glad to hear everybody's kind of where they're supposed to be at. Wife's supposed to be tired. He's supposed to be okay. Dad said problems in Georgia, the country tonight. Well, that's not uncommon out there. Jenny's always got something nice to say. We'll come together and time will heal. Amen. Amen. All right. 8. The way of the guilty is exceedingly crooked, but as for the pure, his conduct is upright. Very cut and dry on this one, right? We talk about guilt and shame and everything. It's bad, right? But how do you identify? You're doing the wrong thing. And sinfulness is toxic. It's revolting to God. It is crooked. But as for the pure, conduct is upright, straight, not bending, as opposed to crooked. But it's a very simple thing. Good things, good person doing good things is good. Bad person doing bad things is bad. And we find ourselves sometimes we are the guilty on that path. Sometimes we are more on the pure side. It is possible to be righteous in some aspects of your life. That's not a guarantee that you are. It's just that it's possible. And that there are people and that you may be one of them who has parts of your life that are upstanding. You are meeting the standard, and that's where your conduct when those cases is upright. But in those places that you aren't, your way is exceedingly crooked. But I think in this one, it makes it sound like that there are folks who just give into what is the wrong thing to do, doing the wrong thing, and that there are folks who are committed to doing the right things. And while I think that there is some truth to that, we should be trying to pursue pure conduct and righteous conduct, and behaving in an upright manner. And that there are those who are just completely fine with being just as completely degenerate as possible, not interested in doing the right thing, maybe consciously doing the wrong thing just because maybe that's what they want to be. I think a more accurate description for those of us who are struggling with some of our behaviors is that we are sometimes we're the guilty, sometimes we're the pure. Just depends on where we're at in our life or what we were talking about. I don't think there's any doubt where you're supposed to be. 9. It is the bet. There it is. It is better to live in a corner of the housetop on the flat roof, exposed to the weather, than in a house shared with a quarrelsome and contentious woman. Jenny, cover your ears. I don't think this applies to you. But this is one where if you when you're talking about Proverbs in a small group setting, and this verse comes up, this proverb pops up, always lots of chuckles involved with this. But again, for us married guys, and maybe some of you wives out there who have a whiny husband, um, it is better to live in a corner. It is better to just have a small patch of place in the corner of a roof, a flat roof, exposed to the elements. It's hot when the sun's out. It's cold when it's cold outside. It's wet when it's raining. You're exposed to the elements. It is better to just sit there and exist than to share a house with a difficult spouse. Domestic issues are complicated. And I think any of us who is married will tell you that it's not a perfect road. Some folks are some people pair up able to, they get along just amazingly well. And if they're truthful, they'll tell you, yeah, we argue sometimes, but for the most part, there's no contention whatsoever. Stubborn folks like me, and who's with a wife who is either as stubborn as me, slightly less stubborn, or slightly more stubborn, depending on who you're talking to, when you're talking to, or which one of us you're talking to when you're talking to us. We butt heads. We butt heads. We disagree. We argue. But it's because both of us are trying to reach. We are trying to reach a good decision. However, if it's just arguing, if it is just complaining, 24/7 because that's their personality. Look, first, try not to marry this person. You want to marry somebody who is happy with you, who loves you, and is not marrying somebody just so that they have somebody that they can live with, that they can use as a punching bag, physically or emotionally or mentally, whatever, however you want it, or spiritually. It is miserable to be with somebody who is miserable. Because a quarrelsome or contentious spouse is somebody who is miserable. They're not happy. Happy people don't act that way. And it's one thing if perhaps the relationship is just so strained, the marriage is just so strained and contentious between both of you, or you're a bum, right? You don't have a job, or you're not doing anything to help, you're not fulfilling your duties. That might be a reason why there's some contention. Gotta be a man. If you're gonna be a husband, be a husband. Be the man of the house. Be a leader. Maybe some of that quarrelsome nature will disappear. Maybe not. But it is this is a good and funny, humorous, if you don't live in this situation, obviously, but it is a humorous proverb that it's better to live on the roof exposed to the weather than in the house, than under the roof uh, with a miserable husband or wife. Yeah. And this is a complicated part. And I think this is part where you really need to keep faith the kind of essential part of your marriage. It can start out to be very happy. The honeymoon period, right? La la land, lovey dovey. Some things over the years get lost, changes, grow different ways. Yeah. You say you don't know, Jenny, but that's that. I mean, that's a good starting point for it. I am not the same person I was when me and my wife got married. My wife certainly isn't the same woman that she was when we got married. There's parts of us I changed. I'd say I don't change at all, but you talk to people who've known me throughout that time, they would say I have. Fatherhood changed me a lot too. But you part of that is being intentional about time together, about growing together. Um, Paying attention to each other so that y'all grow, even if you grow in different ways, that y'all are still committed to each other. That commitment shouldn't change. And it doesn't work if the commitment is only on one side. The commitment has to be both parties. And it has to be, again, like so many things, intentional. It's not just saying you're committed. It's not just thinking you're committed. It is acting committed. Matt Felty says, it's a single man. As the single man, I'll relate it this way. Don't be a quarrelsome bride of the church and complain about absence of presence. I like that take, Matt. We shouldn't be, as Christians, as part of the church proper, the bride of Christ, and complain, "Where's God?" That's a good. That's that's a very interesting. I can't wait to the next time I discuss this with others because I'm gonna bring that up. That is a very. That is a very. That's sermon quality. That's a sermon quality take. You can take that part thing you said right there, Matt, and you could probably create a whole sermon based on that and use that. And you could start it off real funny, right? About how, everybody's giggling, everybody's chuckling, everybody's getting a good laugh about it, especially the married folks. Um, maybe the wives less so, but maybe not. Would you start it off that way and be like, now, how does that make us as the bride of church, bride of Christ? How does that make how do we avoid being that quarrelsome woman? I really, really like that. I don't know, but hey, not being the quarrelsome bride and how to not be, whole different conversation. That is a hard thing, and I don't have many answers to that, except for that we shouldn't be blaming God for things. All right, last one, last one for the night. The soul of the wicked desires evil like an addictive substance. His neighbor finds no compassion in his eyes. Know somebody with an addiction problem? You? Is it difficult to be compassionate when that person is struggling? Is it difficult to be compassionate with yourself when you relapse, when your friend or family member relapses and you're seeing that behavior in front of you? It's not just opiates, it's porn, it's alcohol, it's gossip, it's jealousy, it's anger, it's deceit, it's fraud, perversion. You start doing it, it feels good at the time. It's dangerous in this society, more so than probably in a long time, because you've got a lot of folks around who don't believe or anything. It's okay what you're doing. You can convince yourself it's okay. The willingness and the level of cognitive dissonance that is available to us, that is catered to, is dangerous, because we can easily find ourselves giving into those addictions and being told it's okay. Like the serpent to Eve and Adam, or serpent to Eve and then to Adam. Is it really that bad? Did God really say that? Doesn't it feel good? Why does it feel good if it's supposed to be bad? Oh, you don't want to do it anymore? That's too bad. You need it. Oh, you desire it. it's hard to be compassionate at times for those. You feel sorry for the person because you know they're struggling, but at the same time, you're angry with them. You're disappointed in them. Why are you doing this? You know it's wrong. You continue to do it wrong. You deserve what you're getting. We deserve death for what we've done. But we have been given grace. Are you someone who can accept that? Or are you not concerned? Because you don't think you deserved it anyway. And that's what I'm saying. And then what I mean is you don't think you deserve death anyway. Because you don't think what you're doing is wrong. And if God doesn't agree with you, who cares? Insert stupid libertarian argument here. All right. So that'll wrap up our episode for tonight. Nice little hour episode here. Start off the week on the right foot. Continue the week on right feet. Woo! There should be a stream Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Nope. Take it back. Thursday I'll be with my kids trick-or-treating. So there will be a Monday. So the Monday's tonight. Tuesday and Wednesday should be stream. Thursday, no stream. Tuesday next week is election day. We are going to have an election stream, and we're just going to live stream it. We'll just talk about what's going on. I'm going to have some guests. I'm going to invite the other Paul, a Goy for Jesus. I'll invite Blaine on, a couple of others to come on and hang out for as long as they want to, for as long as we're streaming, and we'll just settle in and make a night of it. Maybe I'll order some food. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. So that's just so you know that's coming up. We can all commiserate in our the next regime of our overlords together. So, all right. So Jenny, Matt Felty, thanks again. I love that. I really need to file that away and remember that, because that is a really good point that you made. Jenny, Mad, Thad, Alias, Neo and family. I mean, Veritax, Carl, we know and love, Alex, and Nico, wherever you are. Y'all, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, this weekend was a reminder how real y'all are. And that just makes it more real, not real. It's the word I'm looking for. More impactful to me on the words that y'all say, the encouragement that y'all give. Again, even the weight of a hello. I'm here. I'm listening. How's it going? Even the weight of that helps really put that into perspective. And so thank you all for your contributions and just your attention. For everybody who is just listening and not participating in the chat, I always will encourage you to be part of the chat, but I understand if you don't want to or you can't. That's fine. But I do appreciate the fact that you guys have found a place that you want to come to nightly or or whenever, and take in this content and listen to the word being spoken, and listening to my ridiculous opinions on things. To everybody who is catching me on replay, thank you for watching. First and foremost, I'm sorry I missed you. Hope to catch you live sometime soon. Everybody have a good night, and God bless.